It says I'm live. We're going to give it a few minutes here before we get going anywhere. See if we get some people to join in. Been a while since I've done anything. It seems to always show someone pop right in within a few seconds. I wonder if that's just my ghost piece coming in, because nobody ever says anything. Have a nasty, nasty habit we need to get done with. All right. Let's see how many people we get popping in and out here. If you are in, you got the chat open, say something, got any questions. Like the title says, I'm going to be doing a no prep build out of this Traxxas stuff and a little bit of drag race concepts and a few other things here and there I still got to get. I believe the Street Eliminator class is basically your kind of stock class. I'm not quite sure. No wheelie bar, no frills, no moss, no fuss. I think no wing, something like that, and what's considered a stock class for the most part, with a 10.5 turn motor and 2S LiPo setup. That's the direction I'm going to go with this one. I've got most of the stuff. As I said in the description, I don't have the stuff for the tranny. I've got a diff case that I've stolen gears of, so I got to get some stuff. I'm going to get a locker for this. Put a locker in this, and then I got to get the gears and input shaft. And other things like that. So I'm going to get a locker for that. Put that together with the locked setup and lock this unit up with the hot racing locker. I got to get that. But I am going to go ahead and install the rear arms on that. That may be one of the first things I do. Go ahead and kind of put it together tentatively, just so it's kind of there. And then when I get the tranny gears and everything else, I can go through. I'm going to put 200,000 diff oil in this. With the, or I'm sorry, not 200,000 with the locker. Duh. This is going to get the locker, and then I'm going to put a slipper clutch on it, obviously. And then I've got another one I'm going to get. I'm going to get another hot racing setup and another set of gears. And with that, and 200,000 diff oil, I'm going to build a RPM transmission case to have as a spare. One ready to go back up. So I'll have 3 drag cars, basically, maybe 4 if I don't sell this other one. Another low CG slash, a little bit more used, but still great shape, runs great. If I don't sell that, it's a roller right now. I may, set that up as another straight one and then do this one a little bit higher end. But I've got the TARP and I've got the Chuck Works RC Redshift that are going to be my 2 main drag units. So I'm probably going to build this one up, and then I'm trying to sell the other roller right now. Pretty much stock. It's got a locker in the diff. React belted tires on it. No body. Has the stock Traxxas steering servo. Pretty basic roller. Needs your ESC and motor and body, and that's pretty much it. Radio and battery. So in the meantime, I can't get to this, but I'm going to throw the arms on it, like I said. And I'm going to double check, because I know these arms, obviously, I got these pieces on here now from these RPM other trays case that I put together. And I went a slightly different way. I went back to the Traxxas arms, banded arms on that setup, and that was in the Chuck Works. So I'm going to pop these out of here. I'm going to need some eyes to see. Now, typically, because of the way these things are done up, you get that toe in a little bit, and I'm going to try to remove as much of that as I can. Not sure how much I'm going to be able to remove. Let's go ahead and drop this up there. Up there right on the floor. Now, ideally, this is the right arm, so this goes on the right side, but that's where we're going to get all of our toe. And these are banded arms. So this is a banded arm going in here. Yeah, see, there's a bit of toe in there. So let me see if I flip this around this side. Do I still have that terrible toe? So I think you gotta flip it around. Okay. Well, that looks about right. I'll start there and see what happens. So I think that's where it's gonna go. Flip them around. Of course, your shocks are going to mount to the back instead of the front where they normally mount. They usually mount to the front side of the rear A arms. Use them mount to the back side now. So I got to do a little modification and adjustments there to get that to work. Maybe a standoff or something to get them squared up and straight. One thing about hobby grade RCs and this kind of stuff is it's pretty much custom build. So you got to fabricate a little bit here and there. These are RPM arms, so there's no slop. If these were Traxxas arms, the Traxxas arms have a little wider opening between them where I'm putting this hinge pin in here. So they get a little slop in there. Not bad on a dirt rig, for the most part, or a basher. But on a drag rig, you want everything tight and snug, and I probably should not be using the RPMs on it because they flex a little much, for my likeness. But I'm going to try to pull this aside because I do have some lines here on my board. So if I get everything lined up, well, that looks pretty straight. Looks pretty straight. Let me bring it down a little bit. Make sure we're lined up there. There may be a little toe out right there. I may have to tweak things just a smidge. Not sure how I'll do that, but I'll figure that out. So essentially, this stuff's all new. I mean, the only thing that's used that is what everything's sitting here right now are these. The MIP dry chassis. Everything else pretty much is brand new, not been used. Shocks, all of it. So we'll go ahead and get this little bad boy open. The biggest trick on parts, it looks like, is going to be the Spurrier shafts, as they don't look like they are in stock anywhere. I got one other place, a buddy of mine owns a hobby shop I can call, and I can see if maybe he's got a couple of these shafts in place or in stock. It's the top Spurrier input shaft for the transmission. They seem to be out of stock darn near everywhere. I think those are supposed to be for the fronts. New pads, those up there. Arms, those up there. Oh, you know what? Before I go far putting this together, something else I'm going to do that I thought about yesterday and I didn't get to yet. So I'll throw some of the stuff together and get it ready and then chop it in. I'm going to dye this black. You can buy them black, but you can only buy this tray, the main low CG chassis, black. You don't get the full kit with everything else, which is okay in some cases, but I wanted the full kit because I wanted the extra pieces to do this one up all the way. But I want to make it all black. It's going to be a black, gray, dark gray colored on all the stuff as much as possible black if I can get it black. So I'm going to look around and see some options for some of the other pieces, trying to keep it as low cost as possible. So I've been looking at atomic parts. Picked up a couple of red atomic carriers for the Chuckworks, I think it was. Yeah, Chuckworks, and I'm impressed. They were fun. They look just like an exact copy, basically, of the Traxxas units, just different colors. Their greens are different, the reds are off, the blues aren't quite the same. But anyways, they only got gray. I was hoping they had black units, but they don't. So, but I'm going to dye this black, so it's all black. So I got to get that done. So I will leave it up here instead of the side, I guess, for the moment. We'll get it kind of set up. I'm going to get an atomic steering belt crank, and then the two carriers, front and rear. And there was one other thing. I don't quite remember what it is, but we'll set that there. There's one piece I do have to grab. And that is the shock tower. Drag race concept shock tower. This is the tarp stuff in here. And I'm thinking, God, I should have a shock tower for the setup. I forgot that I got the shock tower with the tarp for the front. And that one was for the back. Or, sorry, that one was for the front on this one, for this build. There we go. Set this there, just off the side. So I got the front shock tower. So I can get those things done too. But I need to find are the correct pins. I've got other hinge pins. I should have other hinge pins around. I could use those, and I have to either put a spacer in there or not. Well, I still gotta come up with my cross pin. Hello! Looks like we gotta take a call. Hello? Yeah. Okay. Call from my cousin for a bit. Give her a little advice. So where were we? Okay. So we got that done. There's my shock tower. Like I said, I got the TARP unit and it's got a front shock tower with it. And I had this stuck with that. And I was packing my stuff together last night going, where's my other shock tower? That it hit me where it was. So let's see. Let's go ahead and, speaking of shock tower, do a little bit of that here. We'll get some of that stuff done. Put some of this front end stuff together. These pieces in. I gotta find, I should have some, a bag with the other pins. I think they're in here. They're probably in that box with that stuff. Because I should have like two things. I bought two STRC hinge sets. And then also two STRC hinge sets, and then also I must have those ones in there. And then of course the stock pins. I had to use a couple of the stock pins because the STRCs wouldn't fit in the front carriers for the carrier to the twist piece here. Didn't quite want to fit in there for some reason. Not quite sure why. A little too big, and I didn't want to drill them out, so I just used the stock ones again. But I got the rest of the stock things around. These. Take these out. That don't need out. Stickers. Those there. Eyes back on. Trying to find out what stamp is what. Okay. And that goes to the chassis. These go in here like this. Let me go ahead and use these drag race concept hinge pins. This might be a little bit of a conglomerate, but that's, I should have the other hinge pins, but in case I don't, I've got a pack in my shopping cart ready to go when I need them. But I'm waiting to see if I can find some of those top shafts. If not, I'm gonna have to wait until they come into stock. A-Main's saying this Thursday, January 7th, so we'll see. All right. So go ahead and slide this bad boy together. Slip one of these on. It's always easy to load one first. Slide this thing. You're in the right spot. Now I don't have the front brace piece, so I've got to get that yet. Come on, get in there. Get these lined up just right. Hey, well, I guess I don't need a brace on that. She's got her. Oh, I did. Oh, no, I didn't. It goes like that. My bad. Okay. So for a minute, I thought I put it on backwards. So, what easiest way to do this? I can't really do it on this because it's too soft. At least for these ones, just slide it in there, stick it on, add it. Slide it in your little slot, get it lined up, slide it on something hard, and hold it in place so it don't spit out on you, and then just push down and snap it in place. These things can be a bear. A lot of times they fly all over the place. But if you do it that way, it gets on there, it holds it, it puts it in place. There we go. Let's see. Lock these together. So basically, RPM A arms with the Drag Race Concepts front 0-degree bulkhead. We'll get these pieces slipped together. Like I said, it's going to be a 2, 3, maybe a 4-part video before you get to the body. Probably take, the next couple of weeks to get to everything, waiting for parts to come in, because if those top shafts don't come in, I'm not going to be able to get really into the tranny that much until they are. Now, it's important that they kind of free flow. This one's a little tight. Not bad, but it'll loosen up a tad, but it should be like this side here, where you bring it up and it just flops down. This side's a little tight yet. It wants to stay up. Might be able to loosen that up a little bit. Maybe just slide a little bit of silicone, dry silicone powder in there. But that should flop easy like this side does automatically. So there's back, front. Let's go ahead and get the back shock tower on here. And we'll need a couple screws. These are, get these in here just to get them set. Go ahead and pull the driver out, make life a tad easier. Actually, I should just go ahead and grab the other driver, but I don't want to set things in hard. I got a nice DeWalt gyroscopic driver that I just want to kind of set these in so they don't fall out and get lost. Goes in there. Screws and shock pistons, which I may or may not get into. So let's go ahead and get this girl open. Off this nice pretty carbon fiber shock tower. Now the reason obviously for the 0-degree front bulkhead, if you don't know, a lot of you people who are putting together these things, you got the Traxxas slashed bulkhead, And because this is a short cuss truck, slash a short cuss truck, and your buggies and most of that stuff, off-road stuff, they've got that, you know, kick up in the front end, 3.5, 5 degrees, 8 degrees, some cases. It depends on the company and what, you know, the rig is built, design, everything. But that can get pretty crazy. I think I'll go ahead and we'll put her on the front and see how we do here. So I can grab a little bit of this. And a couple screws. I got other screws, but I think I got a couple of them here that I could use. Right there. Got these two. Those are great. Nice little flathead screws. Perfect for holding this on. Set up here. Hopefully I flip it around right and get it the right way. Yeah, I think that works better. I think that's either way. Take a look real quick. Take a look at my other setup. I actually got it on the back of the other setup, but when I come in, I had to put adapters, so I'm probably going to end up have that one on right to bring it over. So we're going to put it on the front. Okay, that's all good. Just like, oh, wrong one. Those around. Okay. Just a little bit. Heavy there. Grab it. That much on it. Okay. Quick, get in there all the way because that's got a shoulder on the inside just a bit. Okay. So we will pass on these then. I don't actually have the right screws I want to use in here other than those short flats. So let me grab this bag where I probably do have the ones I need. I think that one's long enough either. go. There's two of these right though. That might be the bigger one. Yes, it is. Silly Traxxas. Always using funky sizes. So yeah, half hour, 35 minutes in here. Not too bad, not too bad. Could be worse, could be better. I want to put this on the front. Punch out the backside. Good to snug with those, but always grab the handle to do your final. It's too big. Probably too small. Probably just about right. And do your final little snug with a good end driver. These things, unless you got really high-end Allen drivers, do your tightening and loosening with a regular Allen wrench, and then all your fast spinning and turning with those. It's all right to do snug things with those and a slight tweak, and then if that's all you need. But if you need something a little bit more, it's good to do the other things. Now, I gotta find my other hinge pins where I'm gonna be able to put those on, but what I can do, we can do the bumper. We'll put the bumper on. Get it set up. So with the drag race concept items here, obviously I've got the 0 degree bulkhead, the front carbon fiber shock tower, nice little setup there with those two pieces, the bulkhead obviously, and this makes your A-arms run flat. As I was saying, if, when you're looking at it, you try to get into this angle of this camera here, you look at it, that's flat. And then with the unit, you got a kick up. So your arms aren't quite flat. It's easier to show it flat, but obviously ain't like that. You ain't gonna see it flat from your angle. That's flat to you. So, the way it kicks is about like that. So those arms aren't going up or straight and down. When it's straight up and down, the arms move straight up and down. And that makes an importance when you're kind of back and forth a little bit. When your arms come up and your arms move backwards towards, they move this way towards the back of the car, it shortens that wheelbase, and then when that turns on the ground, it's going to turn and drag and try to pull you out of the lane. When you're drag racing, if that happens on this side and you're in the right lane, you're going to cross the center line and that disqualifies you. So it's important to stay straight. And one way to do that is to get a 0 degree bulkhead or almost 0 degrees, 2, maybe 1, 2, 3 degrees, and keep your A-arms up and down when they're parallel to the road. So when they're moving up and down, they stay parallel. You don't shorten that wheelbase and you're not veering off. And that's something some people may be having, because when you're going forward and you set down, of course, that shortens things up. And that's all you need, just to veer off a little bit. And that's also why it's important to get that. So I may end up having to sand that down just a little bit so it's straightened, so it doesn't work right. So it does work right. So let's put this around here. These are little buttons, tiny little buttons. Let's see what I've got in here. There's one. 4 or a 6 millimeter is more than enough. That was too tiny. Let's see. Don't look like I got any more of those. No, that's a 2.5 millimeter. Need a 3 millimeter. Okay. Let's dig into the bigger bag here. Cap head, 4 to 6 millimeter. Bingo. There we go. Oh, no, that's a 2.5 millimeter. That's not the one. And both countersunks. I don't think that's countersunk on this side. Okay. Those on that side. Tiny, tiny shorty, like 3 millimeters or so. We got there. There we go. Is that two of the same, or is that one a little shorter? Looks like it's a little shorter. I don't know if it is. Yeah, those are a little short. Let's see if I've got one more of these slightly longer ones. It's a 2.5 millimeter. I've got other screws around, just not in the room here. That's two of the short, but those too short, I think. There's something a little longer. Another one. So two long, flat head. Yes, number 2. Running out of numbers. Okay, don't look like I got another one in there. Katie down here, my girlfriend, playing. Well. Yes, I hear you. Here. So let me see what I've got up here on this tray. So I've got some stuff here. These over there, right? Shoulder screws. dig through my stuff. Allen's out of the way. Go get Stanley. A longer 10 millimeters, but too long for what I need. Okay, I'm gonna have to go grab a few of my other exit screws. I don't have another shorty around here like that. It's a button head that's gonna work. The other ones are gonna be too short. So. Let's see what I've got in this one. Oh, this one right there. Actually, right there's one. I can see it already. A little longer, that one is. Where'd you go? There you are. That's where you are. Okay, now. So that one. Size look killer. Now, obviously, you use cap heads down here, but I use the buttons. They're low profile, obviously. Number one, number two. When you're bouncing down, they'll take a little bit of work. Of course, a couple of cap heads will give you about a little bit better than a 1/16 of an inch clearance, so those cap heads would bump down. You also have something to get a hold of if you scrape them down enough. But these will work out great. I'm gonna have to slide these screws in further to get them past the bumper. Get this threading work done. Yeah. What, Katie? Surprised you're not up here trying to say hi to everybody. Just before I started the video is getting time for daily food. She's got a bowl of dry seeds out, but I'd get her some fresh pack. Refrigerated, fairly fresh, decently made cat food. She loves the hell out of it. And about 12:30, 1 o'clock, she's on me like stink until she gets it at 3. Try to keep her, feed her at the same time every day. Okay. See, it still sticks. I may end up sliding that out, but there is the now that Takes 3 larger countersunks. That's something else. I don't know if I've got those larger countersunks available. I might have to pick up some of those at the hardware store, because I know I got one, but I used the other 2 already. So I may end up having to wait on this part. Well, I got stainless I could use. Oh, no, I don't want to use that stainless and the aluminum. I guess I could, as long as I'm careful with it. That one's too long. Let me go see what I got in my other. I wanted to use black hardware though, so I probably will end up having to wait on that, even though it's only 3. Okay, there's the one. Oh, I do have another one right there. More in here, maybe? It doesn't look like it. Looks like it's only the 2, but that gives me 2 out of the 3. And then I can always dig around and come up with the 3rd. Okay. This is partially good. I think these ones are too small. No, that's the right one. So I'll do the outside ones. And one thing I see a lot of people doing is stainless steel screw kits. They don't rust. That's killer. But there is a problem that happens. Not always, but often enough it should be mentioned. When you use stainless steel in aluminum, particularly raw non-anodized aluminum, there's a strong chance that as you put that stainless steel screw into the aluminum, particularly again raw aluminum, that you will null or gall, G-N-A-L-L, gall, null the aluminum with the threads of the stainless steel. They don't quite slide frictionlessly. This can cause bits of aluminum or stainless steel, pretty much bits of aluminum, to flake off, sticking in the threads of the stainless steel. And when that happens, guess what? You've got a bolt that is basically seized, and you're going to rip all the aluminum threads out just trying to get that bolt out. So I don't recommend, even in well anodized stuff, because once you start wearing out that anodized layer, which a couple of times to pass the thread through it, it does, you're going to put that stainless steel onto that raw aluminum, and you're going to wish you didn't at one point or another. Food for thought. Okay, so there's our front end, so much. But as you can see now, those arms, instead of being kicked up, not like this, but with a lean back, they're flat, they're square. And that's when those arms are up and down, you're not going to be trying to veer off, because when that comes up and when it's got a thing and it's coming backwards, it's shortening the wheelbase. That little bit of shorter wheelbase, that little bit on these small cars, is all you need to pull you off the side and either into a curb or across the center line. And if you're playing, for money, you don't want that. You're not going to want that, because that's a sure way to give your money to the house. So 0 degrees are an important piece, in my opinion, getting these front A-arms flat. Now, mind you, I'm going to say this straight up. I have yet to get behind the trigger of a No Prep RC drag car. But physics is physics, mechanical reasoning is mechanical reasoning, and the only thing experience is going to learn you is how to get around that problem. And that's what this is. So even though I've never pulled the trigger on one, I've gone fast in a straight line often enough, and I know physics and mechanical reasoning well enough to understand the fine, mechanisms at work that causes people to veer across the center line. And if that was me this February, I think it is, in Arizona, I'd be mighty darn bummed if I was in the final race and lost a $24,000 RC car winner take all pot. Well, not quite winner take all. There's other prizes, but the main winner, whoever takes first place in this whole thing going on, is going to take $24,000 home. So if I lost because my car veered, because my wheelbase shortened, because I didn't have my thing set up properly, lost a little bit, got a little wind, and that caused me to veer across the line, I'd be damn bummed. Yes, sir. That would be a hell. Even a $200, even $100, even a $20 loss, even a bragging rights loss because of that. If you understand men and their egos, or I should say men and our egos. So can't do much there. I can put this on, but I really can't mount it because I got to take that apart. So we'll go ahead and put. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Look who snuck up behind me. Snuck her booty right in the chair, and I didn't know it. I'm sorry. I know I'm mad too. I'd be mad at me too if I set my fat ass on you. Arr. Typical woman. Gets a little rough when she's upset. Kind of call her a rescue. She was my cousin's cat, the one that was on the phone earlier. It was her cat, and she had to get rid of her. So I took her. I'm a cat guy. I'm a Leo by birth, born in August. And I hadn't had a cat for like 4 or 5 years now. Last one passed away, 2017 maybe. So it's been a few, but I figured I'd pick her up. She was a good kitty, but she likes to play. She's feisty. Arr, arr. But yeah, she'll get right in my. Hey, don't go in my arm. She'll get right in your face and let you know all about it. Okay, so I got a couple of these. Already got screws in here. So let me peel these out and get them to drop in there. Yes, yes, yes. The eyes back on. There they are. Put that there. Yeah, that's where it goes. It only goes in one place on the back because the toe or the camber link. Stop it. Arr. Ay, 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 ay. She's a crackhead, man. I'm telling you. Cat's a trip. Arr. She likes to play and play aggressively some days. Usually after she gets done eating, she gets a little feisty and then she'll go lay down. Arr. Won't you? Arr. She's a little. Ouch! Ow! Damn claws. Come here, bitch. Say hi to the people. You're in my way. You're bugging me. She don't want to be in front of the camera. She wants to argue. Just like a woman. Okay. little drop in each of these. Just a wee little drop. Let it run through a smidge. Set her flat. Let's see. Rear shock tower and mount, obviously. Drag race concepts again. Little ass claws are sharp. Grabbing it by the back of the arm and got it sunk. Ow! Right there. Grab my other wrench and get just a little final snug. Stuff dries and it's in there tight. And that will, of course, mount like that. Yeah, mounts like this. But I'm not going to mount that because I got to pull that back apart anywho. I still got to put a couple screws back in here. So let me go ahead and peel these ones out because this is where a couple of these go anyways. Actually, I'm going to, yeah, open this one. Nope, that one ain't quite long enough. So I got the screws, put it all the way together. Put it in there. I think I got a longer screw. I got a couple in here. Let's see what I got. A couple of these are really long that go in there. That's a little too long. Although that one's probably fine for there. Oh, that's the Phillips. I don't want to use that crap. Just gonna trash all the Phillips I pull out. I got some Phillips mixed into this stuff. RC 4-wheel drive won't even fuck for the decent stuff. I think that one will work in there maybe. Not long enough yet. It's still too short. Good long one. That's a good one for that. And sink that baby home. So at least I got all my screws when I do get the other pieces. So yeah, 0 degree, setup will really help stop you from veering out of lane as you're bouncing down the track a little bit, because that kicked up front end changes your, as that wheel comes up, as the shock compresses and your suspension is working, shortens up your wheelbase, and that will pull you that way wherever the shorter wheelbase is, because it's leading that way. Now it's got a little cut. Think like a shopping cart with a funky wheel that won't quite stop turning. It wants to keep pulling that way. That's kind of the same concept. What happens, the same result, but the way it gets there is a little differently. So let's see. That's that. That one's in there. Let me finish putting this in all the way. Just because it's got to go in and be seated anyways. All right, there's that one's in there. That one's in there. That's another one, just about the same thing. Let's see what those two right there are. They're both pretty long. May not be long enough, maybe too long. Maybe Phillips. Correct. This one is a decent one. That's the same length, so that's a good one for down here. This thing screws back in it, so it's ready to go. And we need kicking a little bit, but it'll be good for right in here. Maybe it won't. No, I'm gonna pull it out and trash it because it's already clicking and stripping. That ain't good. That one's a little tore up already, I guess. I do have a couple of those in there. Right there's another one of those. So I may be able to do a little bit more here. That one could be trash. Let me peel this out here for a minute. I see a couple in this one. The first thing I see is the other screw I need for that. That one. I wonder if those ones will work in this. I do have those in here, don't I? No? I might. I gotta do a little more in there. At least get those in. I got the atomics for it. This is the two that go in this setup. And there's a real long one in there. It goes through it all. Actually, that's this one here. By the time it goes through the back bumper mount, it gets in there. That's that one. This one can probably go in there. And then okay, let's see if I got it. I got a couple longer ones in here. I don't know if it's long enough. The longest things I got in there is the studs. Not one long in there, not one long enough there. How's that one? Those ones aren't quite long enough. On that, that's junk. Nothing there. That one might be long enough. So the one hooked up here on the carrier. I don't think so. Perhaps. More of this case to get in there, for it's got all the screws for it. Yeah, that one needs to be longer than that by a bit. All right, that's there. This here. Check here. I still got a couple here. That I think I got long enough ones there. Right there. Phillips bits right there. Ah, that's a longer one. That's that one. Okay. It's a little longer yet. I think that one will work pretty good. That gets in there almost a 1/4 inch. That one in there. Okay, that's all those. So when I do get the rest of this stuff, I'll be able to turn around and put that puppy together with the gears. Again, I gotta order the gears, waiting on top shafts to come back in stock because almost nobody has one in stock. Or so it appears. Everybody seems to be out of those. Can't sell any of that stuff until. So now also another thing for you people who are new and may not know or kind of just starting out in this, whatever the case is. Plastic and Loctite. This is the blue Loctite or red Loctite, don't matter. Plastic and Loctite are not friends. They are not frenemies. They are not friends. They're not associates. They're not acquaintances. They hate each other. Loctite will soften your plastics. So when you're doing Loctite stuff and you need stuff with Loctite around plastic, be careful. Because Loctite does not like plastic. Oh, let's see this other one here. That's it. These up a smidge, so I can wiggle a tad. Just It's always good to make sure you clean up any slop or excess Loctite before you put your holes or bolts in, because that will soften that plastic quick. Well, it's a little long. I've got a slightly shorter one. I should have. Maybe not here. Let me go look. I don't think I got a right one in there. Take a look at some of these other bags I have bolts and stuff in. Stains. They don't look like it. Okay. So anyways, yeah, I don't have any of the other bolts. At least not handy. I do, but this up a bit, make this sloppy. Yeah. Yeah, this one's pretty long too. I can always zap them off if I need to. But I'll probably just get some slightly shorter ones. Because I'll need a couple slightly shorter ones. And I don't have the steering rack, at least not one I want to use. I have a stock plastic one, but I want to use a higher quality unit than that. So I can't do that. Might be getting atomic carriers, so I don't want to put those carriers on front or back because I'm getting the aluminum ones. Can't tranny together. So basically, I'm pretty much, I think, at my limit here with these part items here on part one. Just kind of throwing this stuff together, finding my parts, trying to look for all of them. I don't have everything where it should have been. Still kind of reorganizing once I got squared out. Okay, so I'm going to take these two and I'll slide them in the front hinge pins because this is where they go up here. Actually, no, those ain't the ones that go there. These are the ones that go in the 30 degrees. Where are these? The got the sticker right over the name. God, I can't remember what the heck they call these things. So I'm trying to peel this off. Caster blocks, I guess. I think they are. So I believe they are. So I'm just going to slide these in here. That way they're in there ready to go when I get those things. I'll be ordering up the atomic stuff probably in the next day or so. I'm waiting to see if I can get the other pieces I need for the specifically the tranny stuff, but specifically those input shafts. I get anything else, everything else is available. So I guess that's what we're gonna call it. Now this is gonna get, again, pretty much stock setup except a locker in the diff. Stock diff, VXL diff. So I'm gonna put that in there and then get it all locked up, running the MIP shafts to the atomic carriers, RPM arms. So that's that there. Of course, this mounts up here like a so. Carriers here, shocks for the front or the rear. I'm not sure which. I think those are the fronts. Motor guard. So I'm going to pack this stuff up for now. In a couple days to a week, I'll probably be able to start with part two because I will have gotten the other parts I needed. So that's, pretty much all for now. Like I say, not doing a heck of a lot. I guess I opened that and really didn't need to. But that's okay. We'll pack all this stuff up. Get it all ready to go for the next round. These in here. And that way it's good to go. Go ahead and put those in here. Slide it in there somewhat like it's gonna be. That goes in like that. This will run across it like that. That's just in the back, of course. All right, I will holler at you guys the next time. It won't be too much longer, and we will have a full roller. So you guys have a good one. We'll talk to you later.